Welcome to another video of Food Nourish Deep Dives, the video cast of foodnourish.net, where we explore topics like health, food, supplements, and alternative approaches to health and wellness. Today, we're diving into a really disturbing trend that's happening right in America's heartland. It's a mystery that starts in the cornfields of Iowa, but honestly, it raises some unsettling questions for all of us.
So, picture this. You're 18 years old. Your whole life has been spent in this beautiful rural Iowa town, and then you get diagnosed with cancer. This is exactly what happened to Mackenzie Dryden, and that one devastating question you see here, could something in the land she loved have made her sick? Well, that question started a journey that uncovered something much, much bigger.
Because it turns out Mackenzie's story isn't some tragic, isolated event. No, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. It's a clue that points to this deeply troubling pattern of young adults getting sick all across the Midwest. And it's forcing communities to ask some really tough questions. Questions that, for a long time, nobody really wanted to touch.
Okay, let's look at the data, because this is where it gets really stark. A Washington Post analysis laid it all out. For Americans over 50, cancer rates have actually dropped by about 10% since 1999. That's great news, right? But for young adults, it's the exact opposite. The rate is climbing. And in Iowa, for people between 15 and 49, it has shot up a staggering 25%.
And this is not just an Iowa problem. You have to understand, a quiet epidemic is spreading across America's agricultural heartland. Since 2015, the 6 biggest corn-producing states have developed a cancer rate for young adults that's now 5% higher than the rest of the country. I mean, you can see a clear, troubling split happening right here.
And this slide, wow. This just shows you how serious the situation has become in Iowa specifically. At the turn of the century, Iowa was ranked 18th for cancer rates in this age group. Not great, but not at the top. Today, it's ranked 5th. That's an enormous and deeply concerning jump in just a couple of decades. Now, as we start to dig into what could possibly be behind all this, I just want to quickly mention our deals page. If you're looking for high-quality supplements and wellness products, you should really head over to foodnourish.net/deals. You'll find great offers there from major brands like Perpetual Life, iHerb, Source Naturals, Nootropics Depot, and Bioptimizers. We put the link right there in the description for you, so it's easy to find.
Okay, so what on earth could be causing this? You know, in a region that's so dominated by agriculture, the search for answers, it always seems to lead back to the land itself.
And right at the center of this whole controversy is glyphosate. You probably know it as the main ingredient in Roundup. And here's the problem. The science is totally divided. You've got the World Health Organization's cancer agency saying back in 2015 that it's probably carcinogenic. But then you have the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency saying in 2020 that it's not likely to cause cancer. This massive disagreement has fueled this huge ongoing battle in science and regulation.
But you know, experts are warning that we can't just fixate on one single chemical. A report from the University of Iowa points out that the state is basically a hotspot for all kinds of potential risks. The soil has some of the highest natural radon levels in the country. The groundwater is polluted with nitrates from fertilizer, again, the highest in the nation. And people there are exposed to these complex cocktails of agrochemicals over decades, not just one thing in a vacuum.
And just to put this all into perspective, a 2024 analysis that looked at all the population-level data came to this absolutely stunning conclusion. They said that the impact of pesticide use on cancer rates might actually rival the impact of smoking. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That is a powerful, powerful statement that completely reframes the scale of this risk.
So, beyond the search for what's causing this, there's the human toll. And these young patients, they're finding themselves up against the healthcare system that it wasn't designed for them. And that's creating a whole new set of brutal challenges.
I mean, get this. Young people are consistently diagnosed at a later, more dangerous stage. For breast cancer, 40% of patients under 50 are diagnosed late. Compare that to just 29% of older women. And why? Well, so often their symptoms get dismissed by doctors who just think, oh, you're too young for it to be something serious.
This is Beatrice Abang-Ntuen. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer at just 25, and her words just capture this awful paradox of being a young survivor. Yeah, they might handle the aggressive treatments better in the short run, but they have to live with the consequences. Things like chronic fatigue, pain, nerve damage for decades and decades longer.
And then there's one of the most heartbreaking consequences of all, infertility. For a young patient, preserving their fertility is absolutely critical, but it's often treated like some kind of unaffordable luxury.
Egg freezing could cost $10,000, and it's hardly ever covered by insurance. It forces young people into an impossible choice at the absolute worst moment of their lives.
And surviving cancer doesn't mean you just go back to normal. Not at all. Emily Hoffman was diagnosed at 30. Her treatment just wrecked her digestive system, and it never recovered. She literally spent a decade of her life, her entire 30s, sick. She couldn't eat. Eventually, she needed a port in her chest just to get liquid nutrition 24/7. Her story really shines a light on these severe, long-term complications that the medical system is still just learning how to handle. But here's where the story really takes a turn. These young patients, they are absolutely refusing to suffer in silence. They have turned their personal pain into collective action, building this incredible movement to demand answers and challenge the way things have always been done in a region where these topics were pretty much off limits for generations.
This is the Madison County crew. After her diagnosis, Mackenzie Dryden discovered that within just a couple of years, 4 other recent graduates from her tiny high school, we're talking only 500 students, had also been diagnosed with advanced cancers. Just seeing them listed out like this, all in their early 20s, it just makes this abstract problem feel terrifyingly real.
And you know what? All their activism is actually working. They're using social media to connect and raise awareness. A local doctor, who's also a state representative, made a plea on TikTok that went viral. They helped defeat a bill that would have protected pesticide companies from lawsuits. And now, Iowa's governor has launched a $1 million research initiative to figure out why the state's cancer rates are rising. This is what it looks like when people at the grassroots level decide to fight back.
But even with all of this progress, the central haunting question is still there. Cole Sealer, one of the Madison County crew, he wonders if it was his diet, or maybe drinking from the water hose as a kid, or something else entirely. His question just hangs there, and it captures the deep uncertainty these young people are living with every single day. Was it a lifetime of little exposures all adding up? To learn more, please check out the resource article we've linked in this video's description. If you found this deep dive valuable, please do us a favor and like the video. It really helps us grow our channel and continue delivering insights on these important health matters. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Thanks for watching.